Yes, Sir Hairless here. Today we go back in time to the mid-70s. This is Crazy on You by Heart. I'm doing this reaction today because it was a poll winner. Once a month, I do a poll that everyone can vote on, completely free. A different song by Heart has been submitted to me in 3 different polls by 3 different people. I imagine that other song is their most famous song. I know it, that's why I said, no, we can't do that one. So this one, Crazy on You, has been submitted in place of that other song. It's suffice to say that I don't really know Heart. I don't know anything about them other than what I've just read about them on Wikipedia. They certainly have an interesting history, but that's a story for another day. For now, let's jump straight on into this one. Ah, so is that the introduction done? We're 46 seconds in. Not gonna lie, absolutely was not expecting that sort of introduction. So cool. It's so rare that you get a very cool instrumental introduction like that on that guitar. Very complex. I'm gonna assume that's the introduction based on what we're hearing now, so I will carry on in just a moment. I'll rewind a few seconds. The introduction, though, it just had this repeated A, which looks to be the key of the song, the root chord of the song based on the chords we've just heard. Of course, that could change, but in the guitar intro, it's never moving. It's just constantly there. Very stubborn, which causes dissonance. It causes clashes as the harmony around it moves, and therefore it causes tension in the introduction. It's a very energetic intro, which, I don't know, I think it's quite suspenseful. Rapid guitar notes. Only now does it move away from that repeated A and it's doing a falling. I feel like I'm about to embark on a horseback journey across the desert or something. Reminds me a little bit of a horse with no name. I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds. Volume down because of copyright reasons, but we again here have that repeated note in the guitar that just refuses to change. Guitar introduction, of course, and there's another bit in this song. Don't know, maybe you disagree, but that's the song this is reminding me of. Quite strange, I know, but maybe it's just the overall vibe it's creating. All right, well, that was a super cool introduction. Let's carry on with the song. It sounds like we just got quite a heavy bass line coming in, actually.
Every time I think about it, I want to cry. With bombs and the devil, and the kids keep coming. No way to breathe easy, no time to be young. But I tell myself that I'm doing alright. There's nothing left to do tonight. Let's go crazy on you.
Ah, this is groovy, There's some serious groove in this song. I really want to carry on, but also I need to talk about what we've heard so far so I don't forget. So I'm going to do that now. If you're new to the channel, pauses like this help with copyright as well. If I played the song all the way through, then my video can just get deleted and that is no use to anyone. So I'll try and get through this quite quickly. The first thing, the chorus, or what I guess is the chorus. The words Crazy on You, the title of the song. It uses the same chords that we get at the kind of start of the song after that guitar introduction, but before the words come in. And of course, that seems like quite an iconic bass line, quite a staple of this song. I like that. I think it's quite quirky that they show us what the chorus will be, at least harmonically, before we've even had any lyrics. Of course, there's no way of knowing until we arrive at the chorus, but then when the chorus arrives, it's like we've sort of already heard it. That's not something we often see in songs. And another reason why I really like this is because of the chords that are used. It's just 3 chords, mostly 2, and then a third one thrown in there. An emphasis on the bass line, nothing complex. These are the 3 chords. But the chords that we hear in the verse, they are a bit more complex. Or maybe I should say that the chord progression, so just which chords are used, is a bit non-standard. More chords, more chord changes, so there are more differences in notes from line to line. The first verse, let's have a listen.
We still have time.
Sorry, I like that as well, how the lyrics come in kind of before the actual main chord is there. They start on the upbeat with a different chord. Quite cool.
We still have time. We might still get by. Every time I think about it, I want to cry. With bombs.
I just had to listen a couple of times, and these are the chords.
We still have time. We might still get by. Every time I think about it, I want to cry.
And then we get the, what would we call it? The pre-chorus, I suppose. That is the best bit of the song so far. Unreal. Anyway, we get some more chords in there. So we've already heard, what, 7 or 8 different chords, which for a pop song is a lot. There's a reason so many popular songs use only 3 or 4 chords. It's simpler, it's easier to play, it's easier for us to remember and familiarize ourselves with. There's always a danger when you use a lot of chords that it could start to get a bit overwhelming, but what they do here, oh yeah, I think that's the best bit. The vocals, so powerful. I want to actually go back to the vocals earlier on, when they first come in. Quite soft.
We still have time. We might still get by. Every time I think about it, I want to cry.
Lovely vocals, a really strong convicted bass line that we've pointed out before, but there's also a sort of flute type sound. It just outlined this this tritone, but passing through there. Tritone is a peculiar interval. It was known as the devil in music, diabolus in musica. And then after that, we get a sort of breakup of the regularity of the music so far.
Easy, no time to be young.
Staccato, disjointed, rhythmically different. Self-explanatory, and then the bit that follows, the best bit. Powerful voice starting in the chest voice, seamlessly transitioning into the blended voice, and then just flicking the head voice at the top there, before coming back down at the end of the phrase, working in contrary motion against this bass line. And then you put them together, it just works so well. Yeah, it's a groovy song. I want to say,
Groovy, baby!
if you enjoy these videos, please consider supporting me. You can buy me a coffee or hot chocolate, join our Patreon for loads of additional content that's not available on YouTube, or become a YouTube member for these groovy emojis and membership badges. All options are linked below, and a special thanks to everyone on the screen. Back to the video.
Love is the even breeze touching your skin. The gentle sweet singing of leaves in the wind. The whisper that calls after you in the night and kisses you here and there. Little light. And you don't need to wonder, you're doing fine. My love, the pleasure's mine. I go crazy on you. Crazy on you. Let me go crazy, crazy.
this song be groovy, but also that section, it's completely changed harmony. We can think of it essentially as a key change temporarily, which is really, I don't know, befitting of the time of the 70s. To be honest, a lot of music I know from the 60s, that would be typical of. Maybe not so much the 70s, but I mean, that was a couple of decades before I was even born, so I'm not in the best position to speak. But yeah, really interesting. So let's go back to that bit. I was getting into the groove, the best bit of the song.
And you don't need to wonder, you're doing fine. My love, the pleasure's mine.
What a voice as well. Mental. Then we get Crazy on You, the chorus, and then...
Wild man's world is crying in pain.
What's this? I mean, it's so obviously different to the rest of the song, we can hear that. One of the main reasons for this is because of the chords used. The harmony really is usually one of the most important things when it comes to transforming the feel of a song. Earlier, I was saying how we had a lot of chords used in this song, which, you know, isn't that common, at least by today's standards. But now we have even more. And then... so we have these minor chords for these pained lyrics.
Wild man's world is crying in pain.
Wild man's world is crying in pain. What you gonna do when everybody's insane? Minor chords are sadder sounding, major chords are happier sounding. So then we end this whole thing in the major. And earlier, if you remember, the whole key of the song is the minor. Much sadder sounding, but here, right now. So this is like a little happier sounding interlude, a slightly more positive section without any lyrics, just ooze. By the way, just for context, that top note there is pretty much the highest your typical chorister will be expected to sing. Really, really high, so cool. And just before we carry on, this might just be how my weird brain works, but I want you to listen out to the flute line again here.
The whisper that calls after you in the night and kisses your ear in the early light.
It really reminds me of a song from a computer game, and the music in this computer game tends to be like MIDI music. It sounds quite antiquated. Maybe because the top note is the same and the scales are similar. Weird though, I'm listening to this super groovy song and just this one line in it just reminds me of a contemporary game from 50 years later. Anyway, let's carry on with the song.
I was a willow last night in a dream. I bent down over a clear running stream and sang you the song that I heard up above. And you kept me alive with your sweet flowing love. Crazy on you. Let me go crazy, crazy on you. Crazy on you. Crazy on you. Let me go crazy, crazy on
Okay, so we've now returned to those newer chords I mentioned earlier. And then... but unlike then, where I said we had these kind of pained lyrics and we had the minor chords and then at the end we had the major happy chord and it was ooze, now we have ooze for all of it. So now these ooze, which are quite mystical, they're a little bit sadder sounding because they've got these minor chords underneath them. Very major.
Crazy on you. Crazy on you. Let me go crazy, crazy on you. Oh.
Ooh, talk about an eerie ending. Mysterious. Well, yeah. Groovy song, groovy song. That bass line is probably very iconic, certainly memorable for me. I don't need to go over which part I think was the best bit of the song again. I probably said it about 10 times. Yeah, really interesting song. I mean, the sections that are just quite different to the rest of the song, they don't really flow that naturally. So I think maybe I'm going to need to listen to this a few more times to really, I don't know, get a bigger picture, listen to it when I'm not trying to make a video. But some parts of that song were just so cool. The voices, I don't need to say any more about that. Really well written song. And I think there are just certain parts that just catch the attention a bit more so than others. And what I love about songs like this is some of the parts that caught my attention will definitely not have caught yours, and vice versa. So yeah, a really cool introduction to Heart on the Sir Hairless channel. If you want to see more Heart on the channel, well, you have to like this video, let me know that you want to see more, and comment down below songs, your recommendations. If you don't want to write any words, then just leave an emoji. Normally I'd give you an emoji, but just go for a crazy emoji, whatever you think is a crazy emoji. Hopefully we'll see an eclectic mix down there. Yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.